各位觀眾大家好，歡迎收睇26分鐘見證實錄。喺2018年，蘇黎世決定將警務工作從皇家騎警轉為市警執行，並且喺1年之後就獲得卑詩省政府嘅批准，從而展開相關嘅過渡工作。但係到咗2022年正當蘇黎世警嘅過渡工作正係進行得如火如荼之際，新一屆嘅市議會卻係投票決定保留騎警並且取消過渡㗎，引發咗一場警務風波。經過省市兩級政府嘅多場角力，最終由公共安全廳長以修改警務法，確保過渡工作順利執行。究竟呢一連串嘅警務風波同埋變化係點樣影響到蘇黎世嘅警務工作呢？
You know, I think that the residents of Surrey just want a police department that is responsive to them. We have had that with the RCMP. The province made the decision to not give Surrey its own voice on what kind of policing model they wanted. And so we have been legislated to have a municipal police force.
I think the number one priority of any democratic society is public safety. And you can't put a price on that. And other things can be put on hold, but public safety is number one.
2018年10月20日，德麥柯林當選蘇黎市長。佢喺競選中承諾終止同皇家騎警嘅合約，並建立一支由本地警務委員會管理嘅市政警隊。佢履行承諾，喺當選之後嘅首場市議會會議上正式提出有關嘅動議。同年嘅11月5日，市府正式通知聯邦政府終止同皇家騎警嘅合同。麥柯林表示，蘇黎需要一支超越皇家騎警服務範疇嘅警務模式，標誌住警務轉型嘅啟動。喺2020年8月6日，蘇黎警務委員會召開首次會議，制定警務架構同埋過渡計劃。到2021年12月29日，市警首批警員開始同皇家騎警聯合巡邏，逐步接管部分嘅執法工作，成為過渡嘅重要里程碑。2022年嘅10月嘅新一屆市選中 ，Brenda Locke 擊敗咗麥柯林，當選成為新任嘅市長。Locke 喺競選中承諾停止警務轉型，並保留皇家騎警。同年嘅11月，市議會以5-4嘅投票結果通過有關動議。然而轉型計劃並未立即停止，蘇黎警務工作嘅未來因此進一步出現爭議。到2023年4月，卑詩省府介入，宣布支持蘇黎市警過渡，並提供財政支持，以推動計劃繼續進行。時任公共安全及法務廳長范和富就話：呢項決定係基於市民嘅安全優先嘅考量，並尋求財政支持，以幫助減輕對蘇黎市民嘅負擔。但由於該項嘅建議不具約束力，因此市府繼續進行保留皇家騎警嘅計劃。期間，省市政府已經達成協議，將完成從蘇黎皇家騎警到市警嘅過渡。協議包括省府將喺10年內提供高達2億5千元嘅資助。到咗6月，范和夫致函蘇黎市議會，要求作最終嘅決定。而市長 Brenda Locke 就回應指，蘇黎市府唔會喺脅迫之下繼續進行過渡，而市議會就再次投票廢除警務過渡。
The city chose the path they wanted to take, and they presented their plan for how they proposed to do it. The question in front of me was, is their plan safe? Does it meet the mandatory requirements to ensure adequate and effective policing? Unfortunately, the City of Surrey has failed to meet mandatory requirements to go back to the RCMP. That puts people at risk. So, today, I am directing the City of Surrey to move forward with the Surrey Police Service to keep people safe. It's just not safe to go backwards, and it's clear people in Surrey want this uncertainty over.
到咗10月，蘇黎市府向法院提出法律挑戰，要求阻止市警過渡。幾日之後，范和夫喺省議會提出修改卑詩警務法，以便完成過渡。隨後，省長尹大衛介入，稱蘇黎市府嘅法律挑戰唔會成功。最後到2023年11月，范和夫暫停咗整個蘇黎警務委員會嘅運作，並解除咗市長 Brenda Locke 嘅主席職務，並要求完成過渡。
I've worked with the RCMP officers for over 15 years that I've been mayor in Surrey. They're fine officers and so forth. The only problem is their model that they use hasn't changed over 50 years, and it needs to change.
2018年10月，當選素里市長嘅德麥柯林喺佢當年首次市議會嘅會議上，承諾結束同皇家騎警嘅合約，並開始建立由本地警務委員會管理嘅市警嘅程序。佢當時表示，堅信該市已經唔再適合使用皇家騎警。
Because rural policing versus city policing, very different scenario. And so we wanted to get into the big city. We just didn't feel the RCMP had the training or the will to develop a new type of policing for a big city that Surrey had become.
佢話素里嘅公共安全同埋警務改革係市民當時最關心嘅議題。
It was public safety. I've lived most of my life in Surrey. We had heard during that time that the public is feeling unsafe. We were the fastest growing city in Canada, 1,000 new residents every single month. And the RCMP were not keeping up to the public safety, the demand by the new people moving in and the current people. And so public safety was a number one issue in the election 6 years ago. And so I have always believed that we needed a new type of policing in all cities in the world, actually. Not the reactive policing that is around the world, like 911 call, then the police come rushing, help out, try to solve it. What we need to do is get out in front of the 911 call, be proactive so it doesn't happen. And so that's what we wanted to do, brand new police force. And the other thing about the RCMP that had policed us for many, many years was that they often didn't stay in Surrey. You can't do proactive policing if a police officer that's doing proactive stays only for a year or 2 years and gets transferred out. So we felt we were becoming a training ground for the RCMP, and we wanted police that stayed in our community, lived in our community.
素里市警察局長 Norm Lipinski 表示，對比騎警嘅全國模式，地方警隊更能夠喺執法層面上解決社會問題，提升社區生活質素。
I always look at it this way. Policing isn't about crime reduction. It's more than that. It's about community wellness. It's about dealing with or helping with the social issues. We're always involved in the social issues, be it the unhoused, be it the drug addicted, the mental illness elements of that, and we want to be there. But what's most important is we can't do it ourselves. It's a shared responsibility between the community and policing and other government agencies to work towards community wellness. That is my goal.
而前市長麥柯林就話：喺素里市警過渡期間，明顯感受到市警嘅建立係點樣可以促進到警民之間嘅信任同埋合作。佢認為市警嘅存在令到唔同文化背景嘅居民感到安心，並積極參與到警務工作之中。
What they have built is a confidence in the people in Surrey that they can provide their police and their police will be there for them. Once you build that confidence in the people, then the people will help the police solve problems. If they're afraid of the police, and we have many different cultures in Surrey, we're very multicultural, probably the most multicultural city in the world. And with all those cultures, where they come from, often they don't support their police. They don't trust the police. So we needed to have a new police that our people trusted, all the different cultures trusted. And so we did that, and it's happening. It's all about developing confidence in the public, in the police, and then all of a sudden the residents can help the police maybe solve some of the problems. And it's a big area where we were heading down the wrong way as far as drugs is concerned. And so we needed to make the change quickly and get the confidence of our residents supporting the police rather than not saying anything about what was happening in the communities. And so that's all changed now with our new police. And it's a very effective way to make any big city a lot more safe.
參與並帶領素里市警過渡計劃嘅警察局長 Norm Lipinski 就話：由初期實行過渡工作到期間嘅紛爭，經歷咗4年嘅時間，警隊啱啱起步就需要克服重重困難。
Well, you know, it's been 3 years now. I've actually been here 4 years, but 3 years of actually doing the transition. And we have about 7 stakeholders that are involved in this. And what that means is that we have to work with the 3 levels of government. We have to work with different levels within the RCMP. And then we have to work with the unions. And so putting it all together is looking at moving this forward and doing the biggest transition in Canada from the biggest detachment and getting everybody on the same page and working it through, because it's never been done before. There's no manual. And so here we are. There's a legal part of this. There's a policy part of this. There's a money part of it. And so putting all those stakeholders together, it was a real challenge, but we did it.
而前市長麥柯林就認為喺2022年嘅時候，素里市警嘅過渡工作已經走得太遠，翻唔到轉頭。省府嘅決定合理合法。
Well, they have the ultimate control of all policing in BC, and so it's their decision of which way. We've worked with the province right from day one in a good way. We've worked really good. It doesn't matter the political stripe. We worked with them very well. We worked with the federal government very well. And both governments decided that it had gone too far to go back. And not only that, the provincial government thought it's a better policing model that you probably are going to see other cities in BC, big cities, go towards it in the future. Before, it was, about 60% done, and so we needed to just move forward on it. So they decided to move forward. The council naturally didn't agree. They took the government to court, but they lost because the province does have the jurisdiction on policing in the province. And so the province said, we're going to go ahead.
而過往反對市警過渡計劃嘅現任素里市長 Brenderlock 就認為，省府強推市警過渡，忽視咗社區嘅意願，而期間嘅紛爭為其他嘅城市提供一個教訓。
I actually think, if anything, we're a model of what not to do when you move forward to create your own police department. It should never, ever be thrust upon a community that didn't want it. So I think we should always move forward in good faith and together, in transparency, without non-disclosure agreements, without agreements that restrict information going to the public. We can now talk about the transition a lot more openly than we could before. So I do look forward, moving forward, to being able to talk to the public, and we will do that on a regular basis to let them know where we are on the fiscal issue with the transition and also on the operational side, because it's very important for the public to know where we're at.
素里市警察局長 Lon Lipinski 就話，經過1年多嘅警務糾紛，素里市警夾喺中間，並喺唔確定前途嘅情緒影響之下，警隊普遍士氣低落。
I can certainly speak for SBS, and that was difficult from a morale perspective, and because it was uncertain. You have to remember, I had people from all across Canada come here, and they weren't sure whether they had a job or not. If this was reversed, then they wouldn't have had a job, and they brought their families. So that was a very difficult period of time. We didn't grow, we just hired to replace. That was difficult as well. So it was a morale issue there.
而根據計劃，素里市警已經喺2024年嘅11月29號正式成為咗素里嘅警務管轄機構，並且將會逐步完成過渡。但係過渡嘅過程又遇到啲乜嘢困難同埋挑戰呢？我哋下一節翻嚟再睇。歡迎翻嚟節目時間。經過1年多嘅警務糾紛，素里市警嘅過渡進程又遇到啲乜嘢困難，而各方面又係點樣去應對呢？
Becoming the police of jurisdiction is a significant milestone, but it's not the end of the policing transition. We are still growing, and our organization continues to grow in collaboration with the RCMP. The change in police of jurisdiction is a change in which
which police agency has command of policing for the entire city of Surrey. As of today, that has switched to the Surrey Police Service.
And now it's time to move forward because everybody got tired of it. The community got tired of it. I certainly got tired of it. We have to have a plan, and we put a plan together, and we're moving forward.
現任素理市長 Brenda Locke 指，目前卑斯省府已經定奪過渡計劃，而市府將同素理市警共同前進。
You know, for the sake of everyone, the faster this goes forward, the better. As I said, we are one now. We will move forward together. I may have had a difference of opinion, but we are now in a position where the Surrey Police Service have been legislated to be the POJ, the police of jurisdiction, and we will move together and support them in every way we can.
This police transition will take a little bit of time, and what I mean by that is it's going to probably be about 2.5 more years to do this. And that's important because we still have to hire 300 plus police officers. We presently have 450. And then the RCMP have to demobilize. And what that means for them is that some of these people have to move their families to another city and so forth. So it's going to take a little bit of time to do all that. We have to hire, we have to train, and then we deploy, and they have to move people out. So it's going to take a bit of time.
而 Brenda Locke 就話，目前最重要係成立由市府主導嘅警務委員會。
The most important thing for the city of Surrey right now is to make sure that a city board is appointed. Before that happens, this is still a provincial police department working in the city of Surrey. And until we have our own board with our own residents on it that are responding to the city and to council, mayor and council, and to the residents, it will remain a provincial police department. But we must make that happen, and the province must appoint that board for Surrey and do it quickly. You know, I think that the residents of Surrey just want a police department that is responsive to them. We have had that with the RCMP. The province made the decision to not give Surrey its own voice on what kind of policing model they wanted. And so we have been legislated to have a municipal police force. Having said that, we are now one. We must do and move forward as one. And the city of Surrey will do that as soon as we have the ability to do that, which requires us to have our own board.
而警察局長 Lipinski 就話，警務委員會由省府任命，以確保警務嘅獨立性唔受地方政治嘅過度干預，並將推動市警積極同社區互動，了解居民嘅需求，並以此制定政策。
The number one thing that a municipal police agency brings to any municipality is local accountability. And that is through the police board. I report to a police board. I don't report to council. The police board is chosen by the province, and they represent the community. They come from the community. And so there's that local accountability by the police board that oversees the Surrey Police Service. They oversee it from a budget perspective. They oversee it from a strategic planning perspective, meaning what kind of police service should be serving the community. And they oversee the policy part of it here. So when we're talking local accountability and the ability to move very quickly.
卑斯省府同素理市府就警務過渡達成協議，省府將每年向市府提供3000萬元，以支付直至到2029年嘅過渡費用。而如果2029年至2023年期間成本上升，省府仲將提供高達2000萬元嘅擔保。而 Brenda Locke 就指，從皇家騎警過渡到素理市警嘅成本係市府同省府一直僵持不下嘅因素之一。
That negotiation of that $250 million was critical to the city moving forward. The former mayor and his councillors, and quite frankly the opposition councillors in Surrey, did not care or recognize the cost of this. There's no question in anybody's mind that a municipal Surrey police service was going to cost substantially more than contract policing with the RCMP.
而佢亦補充，將確保省府兌現承諾，令素理市民唔需要為過度嘅額外成本增加負擔。
Cost containment for policing, no matter where you are, no matter whether you're in Vancouver or Delta or any other municipal police force, is a significant issue. The Premier Eby, and the former Solicitor General both said Surrey would not have to pay for this police department. That was one of the things they have said all through the past number of years. And so we will hold them to that. The $250 million will be very, very helpful in addressing the fiscal reality that we now have with the Surrey Police Service. But I can tell you, we will be monitoring it every step of the way to make sure that as the Premier had said, the taxpayer of Surrey will not be burdened financially.
素里市警察局長 Norm Lipinski 理解市警嘅營運成本對比僱用騎警會有所上升，但亦係卑詩省生活成本高昂嘅必然原因。而喺財政控制而言，更重要嘅係實行地方問責。
And so the budget portion of that, and as you see across the BC, that budgets creep up in policing because wages creep up in policing. And that's just part of living in a municipality. That's just part of being, for us, in a big city, or a city that will be the biggest in BC pretty soon. And so I don't think that'll be an issue. We have to be fiscally responsible. We have to ensure that we have cost containment. We have to ensure that everything has a return on investment. And we will do that, and we will demonstrate that. My job is to show that to the board. And then the board makes a decision on what the budget will be for the next year. How many more police officers do we need for next year? And then it goes to council and they make a decision. But in the municipal police environment versus the RCMP, municipal police officers get paid more. And I do believe that in the years ahead, the RCMP will become pretty close to that. That's just the way labor works. And so I think in the future, the difference in costing will be a smaller amount than it has been in decades past.
另外 ，Brenda Locke 就話，招募更多嘅警員，以及令市警部門能夠聘用足夠嘅工作人員，將成為目前警務過渡嘅難關。無論係過往皇家騎警定係市警，都將會面對同樣嘅挑戰。佢擔心喺目前嘅大環境之下，出現警員荒嘅困境。
And so the biggest challenge for us is human resources. It's hiring police officers, and that's not unique to Surrey. That's not unique to British Columbia. It's a national and even an international issue. Hiring police officers is very, very challenging, and so that's going to be moving forward one of the biggest issues. And I will say we will be watching closely with this provincial budget to see that the province funds properly the Justice Institute of BC, because that's where police are trained in our province.
而素里市警察局長 Lipinski 就對招募更多嘅警員以及保留警員嘅情況充滿信心。
The other issue is that we have the Justice Institute of BC for brand new recruits. So we can forecast how many recruits we need, any municipal agency, and then they send people to the Justice Institute. And recognizing that we're an upstart and we need a lot of recruits. But certainly there's been some challenges throughout Canada, and it's well reported on in the RCMP, of filling vacancies. Recruiting is challenged in all police agencies, but when we're in BC with a local Justice Institute of BC, and once the Surrey Police Service has its full capacity, then as people retire, we have no problem in having recruits come to the Surrey Police Service to fulfill that, to ensure that we are topped up, to ensure that we have maximum capacity. We have less of a challenge, and I think it's because we're brand new and people want to join something that's brand new. We have lots of opportunity here because we have to hire to 785 police officers, so there's all kinds of job opportunities. And also, here's a chance for people to put their fingerprint on something brand new, to really work in a brand new unit within a brand new organization. And they've got some great ideas. They come from 26 different agencies, and we're going to build something special here.
好啦，今集嘅節目時間就差唔多啦。咁如果觀眾對我哋嘅節目有啲乜嘢意見嘅話，係好歡迎大家以電郵嘅方式同我哋聯絡㗎。如果觀眾想上網重溫今集嘅節目，亦都可以上到去我哋嘅網站點擊節目重溫一欄。下星期同一時間再同大家見面，晚安。